Call to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the July 27th, 2017 Planning Board meeting. This meeting has been duly advertised according to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law, 1975, Sunshine Law. Roll call, please.
Mr. Peason?
Here.
Ms. Forrest?
Here.
Mr. Wagner?
Here.
Ms. Becerrina?
Here.
Mr. Scobo?
Here.
Mr. Weinstein?
Here.
Vice Chairman Julian?
Here.
Committeeman Delcour?
Here.
Mayor Sarachi?
Here.
Chairman Lapani?
Here. Welcome, Lucille. It's nice to hear your name again. Our first order on our agenda is the deposition of minutes dated in your packet July 13th, 2017.
Eligible members, Mr. Chairman, are Committeeman Delcour, Vice Chairman Julian, yourself, Mr. Scobo, and Mr. Weinstein.
Thank you.
I'll move the minutes.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it.
Second. Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Weinstein?
Yes.
Mr. Scobo?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Julian?
Yes.
Committeeman Delcour?
Yes.
Chairman Lapani?
Yes. We'll just skip down to any business from the floor not on tonight's agenda. All right, seeing none, we'll then now go to the first consideration of ordinances on today's docket. And that would be ordinance 2017-07, an ordinance of the Township of Hillsborough, Somerset County, New Jersey, amending Chapter 188 of the Land Use and Development, Article 5, District and Standards of the Code of the Township of Hillsborough by adding Section 188-113.7, adding mixed use inclusionary in District 1. Mr. Maskey, would you like to go over what changes are?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You may recall you've discussed this ordinance, actually all three ordinances that are on tonight you have discussed prior to this meeting. It has been introduced by the Township Committee at the July 11th meeting. There were no changes made to the ordinance that you sent up to the committee. Your task, if you will, tonight is to determine its consistency or inconsistency, as the case might be, with the master plan and any other comments you might have on the ordinance. Again, the ordinance is the same ordinance that you sent up to the Township Committee, so what you had recommended has not been changed. I just might add that the zone, which is part of our affordable housing initiative, if it were to be adopted, would serve to satisfy the township's affordable housing obligation, and thereby the affordable, I should say, the housing element of the master plan. Help to, yes.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to answer any specific questions you might have on it.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board?
So which section does it state that the roads will be private?
I don't believe there's a specific mention of that in the ordinance. But that's a decision that can be made at the board hearing if and when they come to...
All we're doing is dealing with the zoning for the property, whether the roads are public or private, whether there's a basin which is governed by an association or governed by the township is an issue that the board will deal with when and if the board sees an application regarding this zone.
So therefore, it's not something that's written in the ordinance, just a
Any
case-by-case basis.
more than any other ordinance we
Okay.
have.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. We have to open to any public questions. Okay. Motion to open to public on this?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public on this first amendment, 2017-07? Okay. Seeing none. Motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, so what we have here in front of us, if the board so to speak, would just be to include In ordinance 2017-07, adding in section 188.113.7, the inclusion of mixed use inclusionary in District 1. We would take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Scobo. We have a second.
Second.
Thank you. And roll call.
So I call everyone.
What, Mr. Weinstein?
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Peason,
Yes.
Ms. Forrest,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Ms. Becerrina,
Yes.
Mr. Scobo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Julian,
Yes.
Committeeman Delcor,
Yes.
Mayor Sarachi,
Yes.
Chairman Lapani.
Yes. Next ordinance is 2017-08. Is an ordinance of the Township of Hillsborough, Somerset County, New Jersey, amending Chapter 188, Land Use and Development, Article 5, Districts and Standards, Section 188-113.1, the GA Gateway A District of the Code of Township of Hillsborough to permit extended care facilities in the GA Gateway A District. Again, Mr. Maskey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this ordinance was discussed by the Planning Board prior to sending it to the Township Committee for introduction. The committee has not made any changes to the ordinance that was recommended by the board. This ordinance would be consistent with the 2013 Master Plan Amendment that included extended care facilities among the recommended permitted uses in the Gateway A zone, so it would obviously be consistent. This again refers to the senior care campus, if you will, that currently includes Bridgeway, Avalon, recently approved Pilgrim River Memory Care Facility, and it would basically, rather than have all those uses as use variances, it would include that type of use as a permitted use within the zone.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board?
Dave, I guess my only question is the parking, is that a general standard for extended care facilities? Or is that sort of something more specific to what we're looking at here?
It's the same standard we have now for an extended care facility in the two other zones where it's
Okay.
permitted.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Okay. Thank you. Motion open to public? Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions or comments on this from the public? I don't see any. So can I just leave that open to the next one, or do I have to close each time?
Each time.
Okay. Just trying to save some comments. All right, so motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we have in front of us, looking for a motion to approve ordinance 2017-08, which would be to permit extended care facilities in the GA Gateway A District in the Chapter 188-113.1 section of our land use and development. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Second, Mr. Scobo, thank you, and roll call.
Mr. Peason?
Yes.
Ms. Forrest,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Ms. Becerrina,
Yes.
Mr. Scobo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Julian,
Yes.
Committeeman Delcor,
Yes.
Mayor Sarachi.
Yes.
Chairman Lapani.
Yes. All right, this next one is 2017-09, an ordinance in the Township of Hillsborough, Somerset County, New Jersey, amending Chapter 188, Land Use and Development, Article 5, Design, and Performance Standards of the Code of Township of Hillsborough to regulate commercial vehicles in residential properties. I know this was kind of a hot debate a few months ago when we had a hearing here, and we've obviously, Mr. Maskey, what we've put together.
Yes, again, in the same as the prior to, the Township Committee did not make any changes to the ordinance that was recommended by the Planning Board. This is not obviously an ordinance that would revise or reclassify any zone. It's a clarification of existing performance standards, consistent with the promotion of a desirable visual environment, which is consistent with one of the purposes of the municipal land use law. In short, what the ordinance did, although there are various pieces to it, was decided that a gross vehicle weight would be used as the cutoff. 10,000 pounds or less could be parked outside on a residential property under certain conditions. So if you have a truck that's 10,000 pounds or less, you can park it in the driveway of your house. Anything exceeding 10,000 pounds would be prohibited.
And a limit of one.
And a limit of one
And a
per
limit of one
property, yes.
Per property, regardless.
Under the 10,000.
Under the 10,000, correct. And we comfortable with how we determine driveways and no grass and lawns and all that?
Yes, there are certain conditions. You couldn't put them on the grass, they have to be 5 feet off the property line. There was also a clause put in, you might recall, that if they can park it inside, they have to.
Right.
So there'd have to be
They
some
can fit.
demonstration that they just don't have the garage space to put the truck. Sort of a last resort.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Maskey. Any questions or other comments from the board? Okay. Motion to public? Open to public?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any questions or comments from the public on this amendment? Seeing none, would be a motion to close?
I'll make a
Actually,
motion.
before we do that, just one
Okay.
quick question. Has there been any other public feedback or
No, not-
discussion since we did the introduction?
No, we haven't heard from anybody.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Scobell. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Stephanie. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so now we'll take a roll call on the ordinance 2017.09 to regulate commercial vehicles on the residential properties, amending Chapter 188 of the Land Use Development, Article 5, Standards. Stephanie?
Mr. Peason,
Yes.
Excuse me.
Ms. Forrest.
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Ms. Becker-Renner,
Yes.
Mr. Scobah.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Julian,
Yes.
Committeeman Delacour,
Yes.
Mayor Sarachi.
Yes.
Chairman Lapani.
Yes. All right, so now we will have, in your packet here, for board discussion, proposed affordable housing overlay for Block 200.01, Lot 4, 5, and 6, which is also in your packet as a draft. Mr. Maskey? Comments?
I think I get to start.
You get to start? Oh,
As Mr. Maskey had indicated, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, relative to ordinance 2017-07, and as this board has dealt with previously, we will be bringing to you on an ongoing, periodic basis, zone issues related to potential affordable housing projects that are being considered as part of the Townships Affordable Housing Plan as we continue to move through the process. This is another one of those properties. It is located on Amwell Road. It is a property that the parties have had, that the township and its representatives have had multiple conversations with, where we have come to you now with an ordinance that we believe is worth consideration for the creation of some additional affordable housing in conformance with our ongoing desire to meet or exceed our 20% per property obligation. In this case, this is another one of our 24% plus obligations. I'll have David discuss the ongoing issue.
thank you.
Thank you. This one is slightly different than the other two ordinances you've discussed, whereas this would not create a new zone per se, it would create an overlay option within the GA zone. As Eric pointed out, it's on Amwell Road, pretty much directly across from the senior care facility we just referenced, between Amwell Commons Professional Center and Steinmetz Road, roughly. There are 3 properties involved, which would be consolidated into one 9+ acre tract. In order for the overlay option to be triggered, the 3 lots would have to be developed as a single tract. The maximum number of units allowed would be 126. The minimum number of low and moderate income units would be 31. Basically, it's a single-use multifamily zone. We had sent out earlier a draft of an ordinance that was going to allow for, or include, I should say, a mixed-use building at the front of the property. We were informed by the principals of the property that the mixed-use proposal was no longer part of the project, so we rewrote it for you to discuss as a single-use multifamily development. There are various bulk standards that go along with it. Basically, a minimum lot size 9.3 acres, which is the entire tract, 430 feet of frontage on Amwell Road. Basically, the bulk standards for the lot represent what the property measures today. Building height, 45 feet, 3 stories, setback of 80 feet from Amwell Road. Again, as I said, maximum residential units 126. Typical parking requirements, which are governed by the RSIS. 20-foot buffer adjacent to any residential district. There are some other more detailed requirements. Happy to answer any questions you have generally or specifically about what this zone is about or this overlay is about.
How did, just for remember, how did we come up with the maximum unit number of 126? Is that?
It's based on a concept plan that was submitted by the owners of the property.
Okay.
It fits within the proposed tract. It does not overdevelop the tract. It meets all of our general requirements for that area, and it will not be too dense, or it's almost the Goldilocks three bears. It should be just about right, I think, from a density point of view.
And the reason for the need for this ordinance, it is in the GA zone. The GA zone does not permit single-use residential structures. They would have to be in a mixed-use development. However, the GA zone is a fairly intense, it's set up to encourage certain fairly intense uses. So as Eric just mentioned, it is in keeping with the purpose of the zone, albeit a single-use residential project. But it does meet the intensity expectations of the zone. It is adjacent to 2 major shopping centers, across the street from a major senior care complex, and approximately a 4-block walk to the future train station. So it is in keeping with the general context.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
What's that breakdown like per block? Is it like quarter-acre blocks for single-family homes, or like how's that work?
Well, in the GA zone?
Well, once you change the ordinance, right?
Well, right now, single-family homes aren't permitted in the GA zone.
Right.
This
Or in
is,
the overlay.
or in the overlay for that matter. The minimum lot size in the GA zone for commercial and mixed-use properties is 2 acres. This minimum lot size will be 9+ acres.
Yeah, but I mean, once you change the zone, then you're putting 124 units in there.
Correct.
Not single family.
Oh, not single.
No, this is multifamily.
Okay, so it's,
They're apartments.
I got you.
Anyone else? Okay, we have a motion open to public.
So moved.
Thank you, Stephanie. Second?
Second?
Thank you. Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, do we have any comments or questions on this overlay from the public? Come up to the microphone, please state your name and your address.
Robert D. Anguser, Block 200, Lot 7,
Could you spell your last name, sir?
Engesser.
Thank you.
You guys want to bring this nonsense to the neighborhood. Now you want to only do lots 4, 5, and 6. What happens to number 7? Now, when am I going to have a useless piece of property? Where do I stand?
I don't understand. As far as someone buying your property? Or what, are you?
Well, I mean, you're doing, on the table, so to speak, you got lots 4, 5, and 6. What happened to 7?
It
7
remains,
isn't in the mix?
it isn't in this proposal, it remains in the current GA zone, which is a 2-acre requirement to build whatever is permitted in the GA zone.
So, I mean, you're only, so what's, the GA zone is going to, the GA zone is going to be no more?
No, GA zone will remain. This is an overlay option available to this property if the 3 lots are combined. They can come in for an application under this overlay.
So there's no, who's the proposed, there's nobody proposed to, whose plan is this? I mean, is there even a party going to be buying 4, 5, and 6?
My understanding is there is a party that either is buying or owns 4, 5, and 6.
Excuse me?
There is a party that either is buying or owns 4, 5, and 6.
Well, I guess you can't disclose who that is, correct?
No, I can't.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments from the public? Okay. Motion to close public?
So moved.
Thank you, Stephanie. Second. Any other?
Just for the record, I will indicate that the potential owner of the property is an intervener in the township's ongoing affordable housing litigation.
Thank you. So, any other comments? Okay. So we'll take a motion to approve, I guess we have to recommend to go move this up to the Township Committee of this affordable housing overlay for block 200.01, lot 4, 5, and 6, as written. I'll make a motion to move it. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, and roll call.
Mr. Peason,
Yes.
Ms. Forrest,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner,
Yes.
Ms. Becker-Enna, Mr. Scobo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Julian,
Yes.
Committeeman Delcor,
Yes.
Mayor Sarachi.
Yes.
Chairman Lapani.
Yes. Thank you. So there is no correspondence in your packet. We have no August meetings as scheduled, so our next scheduled meeting would be September 7th, 2017, is it now, Dan?
That's correct.
Okay, bless you. And then followed by the 14th is, we have an agenda for both of them?
We don't have an agenda for the 7th as of yet. We do have one for the 14th.
Okay, so we're going to keep it open. All right. So with that, we'll say have a nice August, and we'll take a motion to adjourn for...
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.